Here's a letter A I once animated for a title sequence, and I want to show you now how I got there from an animation point of view. Okay, the first thing we're going to do when we animate a scene is to actually put what we call a field guide down. The field guide is this sheet of paper, in this case with the letter A bouncing up and down. This represents where the earth is, or the ground that the A is bouncing on, and this represents the path of action. In other words, the direction, where does it actually go to and from as it's bouncing up and down. We keep this on at all times because it gives us a permanent guide to what we're doing. So this is our field guide. The first thing we do, and remember this took me a day and a half to draw all this, so I'm giving you a very quick shortcut to explain the stages and demonstrate the procedures I used to do that over a day and a half. So the first thing we do is we put our first letter A, we call it number 1, and this is the letter A. And if I put the light box on, you'll see that it's sitting on the ground in its start position. If I turn the light box off for a minute, you'll see I put a cross here which represents the middle of the letter A, and you'll see when I put the light on again, that cross is on that dotted line. So we know that the A is starting here and it's going to go up there somewhere and it's going to come down. It's going to go up and down. So the next thing we have to create is where is it going to go to. So when we get to that, we draw a second letter A and see that it starts there and ends there. Now these are called key drawings, keys. And this is drawing number 1 and this is drawing number 19. If I can turn the light off, you can see number 19 and drawing number 1. So that's where it starts and that's where it ends. Now we have to work out between those two things, what is the animation going to be? How is it going to get from A to B? We create little charts to help us here. So let me go to number 1 drawing first of all. So we're going to say, if it starts at number 1, where's it going to go? Well, the big thing in animation is if something moves in a direction, we do a little thing called anticipation, which means that instead of it going straight up, it actually goes down a little bit, then up. So this chart indicates the anticipation to the next key, which is number 7. So if I show you number 7, this is the drawing, and if I flip this, you can see that what's happening is the A is starting big, it's getting small, and then it's going to go up to the top position. Okay, so this is number 7. So we have to work out how many drawings do we need between them. Remember, animation's all about drawings that move from one position slowly to another position. So here is the number 1 position, and here is the number 7 position. What I've decided is to make a little chart here, and it says number 1, number 7, and the halfway position, because it's in parentheses, is number 5. I want number 5 to be halfway, and then between 1 and 5 I'm going to make number 3 my next in-between position. Now you'll notice I don't have any even numbers. I don't use 2, 4, 6, 8. That's because each one of these drawings is going to be on for 2 frames of film. So number 1 is going to be on for frame 1 and 2. Number 3 is going to be frames 3 and 4. 5 is 5 and 6, and 7 will be 7 and 8. It sounds complicated, but you'll see how it works in a minute. So in other words, what I've got to do now, let's put this aside for 1 minute. What I've got to do now is create those drawings between 1 and 7, and 5 is the first one I need to draw because it's halfway. So I've already done this, so I can show you what it looks like. And this is the number 5 drawing, and if I put the light box on, you'll see that it's actually halfway. See, there's the number 1 drawing and there's the number 7 drawing, and number 5 is halfway between the two. And if I flip them, if I put them in order 1, 5 and 7 and flip them, you'll see that it's going 1, 5, 7, 1, 5, 7. It's going down evenly. that in between is going evenly. And then once I've got number 5 done, I have to do number 3. So let me just show you number 3 very quickly. If I take number 7 off, because I don't need that right now, I'm going to put number 1 and number 5 drawing on there. And I'll put the light on so you can see the difference between the two. And then I've already done number 3 drawing. So let me get number 3 and I'll put that on the pegs, and you'll see that number 3 is halfway between the two drawings, halfway between the two. So if I put them all in order, turn the light off, put them all in order, 1, 3, let me get these straight, 5, 3, 1, 7. Okay, if I get them all in order now, 1, 3, 5, and 7, you'll see that it's now moving nice and smooth and evenly from that one to that one. Okay, so now we have our animation to the anticipation, and we have all our in-betweens linking those two things. See that? They're all the in-between drawings. Okay, so now let me take those away. I'm going to put number 7 down, and remember our top drawing, because from here it's going up to there. It's going to come from here and go up to there. I've made another chart, and what I want with my number 7 drawing, sorry, let me put it this way around. I've made another chart, so which is 7 to 19. I'll hold that up closer. 7 to 19. And I've decided that I want more drawings at the end of it and less at the beginning. There's the first one, which is 9, is halfway, and then halfway again is 11, and halfway again is 13, halfway again is 15, and halfway again is 17 before we get to 19. Now the reason I do that is because with gravity, when anything's going against gravity, it gets slowed down. It gets higher and higher, and then gravity is pulling on it, and slowly it gets slowed down to the point where it's pulled back down to Earth again. So when you put more drawings in, you get slower action. So by putting more drawings at the end of the action, it's going to slow it down to give the impression that gravity is pulling upon it. Okay, so let me show you now drawing 7 and 19. Put 1 there, and I'm going to halfway between 7 and 19 is number 9. That's my halfway position, and so here is my number 9 drawing. Now you'll see it's kind of a weird shape, and I've actually kept the bottom of the eye, actually put the light on, see there's the ground. I've actually kept the toes of the A on the ground, so it's still pushing up. It gives it more drive, more dynamics, more action. It gives it more of a push. See that? It pushes up like that, and then it's going to go up to the top like that. Okay? And there's going to be more drawings between this one and the top one, as we've seen on the chart. So that's my number 9. Now in a minute I'll show you how we do an in-between. Here's number 9. Again, I'll remind you of the chart. Number 9 we have here, halfway again is going to be 11, then 13, halfway, then halfway is 15, halfway is 17, till we get 19. So the next one is 11. So if I get number 11, I'll show you that this one, if I put the light on, you'll see that there is number 9, there is number 11, and there is number 19. So this is halfway. And if you don't believe me about halfway, if you can just see, there's the cross on this one. If I turn the light out, we have a little red cross here on number 9. Here's the cross on number 11. And here's the cross on number 19. And if I put the light on, you'll see that there's the first cross, the second cross, and the third cross. This one is halfway between that one and that one. So we know it's halfway. and that gives us our number 11 drawing. So then I'm going to put number 11 on the pegs and show you number 13 drawing. And 13 is there, and again you'll see it's halfway. There's 11, 13, 19. The little crosses, this one is halfway between that one and that one. And again, if I go up one more, so the next one is going to be 15. You can see that this one again is halfway again. It's getting, see the distance is getting closer and closer together. That means they're going to move slower. But again, there's the cross, and it's halfway between that one and that one. And then finally, our last in-between drawing is going to be number 17, which is between this one, number 15, and this one, number 19. So 17 is this one. And again, you'll see it's exactly halfway. See, it's halfway in between the two. And there's the cross between that one and that one. It's halfway in the middle. Now, if I put them, it will be hard for you to see with the light, but if I put 19, 17, 15, 13, 11, you'll probably just be able to see that. So 11, 13, 15, 17, 19, they're slowly going up there. And if I put now number 9 on there, you might just be able to see 9, 11, 13, 15. They're getting closer and closer together. That means they're getting slower and slower as it goes up. And here's our first one. And if I try to flip them for you, let me just try and get the top ones. I'll try to show you. So it goes from there to there to there to there to there. So I don't know if you can see that. It's hard for me to show you on the camera, but they're going up and down. And again, if I put the light on, you'll see there's a slight movement going up there. So really, that's how we work on animation. We work on key drawings first. Key is number 7, key is number 19. Then we do in-between drawings. The first one is number 9 in this case. Then we do another in-between drawing. Then we do another one and another one. And depending on what the animation is, these charts will vary. They will be different. But just so you know, that's how we do it. Now, what I want to do is actually show you very quickly how I would do an in-between. So let me redo number 17. So what I would do, let's say I have number 15 finished and I got number 19 and halfway is 17. So if I hadn't done this before, this is how I would do it. I would first of all get a fresh sheet of paper and I would put a number on it, which is going to be number 17. And then I'd put the light box on, sharpen my pencil. I have an electric pencil sharpener, which is much easier for animation. And then what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to get the red pencil and I'm going to mark that little cross position, that check position, and I'm going to make it halfway between the two. See that? So all I've got on the paper there is a little red cross, but that is exactly the middle of it, halfway between number 15 and number 19. And then I'm going to do a thing called superimposition. So the superimposition makes it easier. So I'm taking everything off the pegs, and then I'm going to take number 19 drawing and 15 drawing, and I'm going to line those little crosses up. Remember we talked about the crosses. I'm going to make sure the paper is all parallel like this, but I'm going to make sure those crosses are right on top of each other, right there. And then I'm going to take the cross on the one I just did on 17. I'm going to make sure the paper is lined up around the edges, and I'm going to make sure that cross is there. And then very carefully and very lightly I'm going to draw between the two, because by putting the crosses on top of each other it brings them all together and makes it easier to work out where the in-between. So I work very lightly I just very lightly work between the two lines that I can see. Sometimes the lines are almost on top of each other, and then sometimes the lines, like the foot of the A, are going to be very different. So I'm drawing very lightly what I think is the halfway position, like this, going halfway, and I'm drawing very lightly. I'm not pushing hard on the pencil, and I'm drawing this halfway. I have to do the part in the middle to make it look like an A. And then when I've got everything drawn in quite lightly, like that, I'm going to switch the light off, and I'm actually going to just put these back on the pegs, like this. I don't need the guide on at the moment. There's my guide, but I don't need it right now because I've taken all my reference points. And then I'm just going to draw heavier now. Now I know where the lines are. I can make them stronger and smoother. So I'm going to do this and make it darker. Make this part darker. And you'll find that when you're drawing lines like this, it's good and it's easier to draw away from yourself when you're trying to do a long line like this. If you push away from yourself, but when you do curves like this, you kind of have to just work out the best way for you to draw them. But so the toe like that, but then I'm going to turn the paper around and do a more of a sweeping line here. And I'm going to do the same with this part. And I'm going to do the same with this part. And I'm going to do the same with this part. And also the back of the A like this. I'm going to do a long, sharper line like that, a darker one. And I'm just going to finish it off like that. So now you can see it's much stronger. And then if I put it on here and put the light on, you'll see it's exactly halfway, and that's exactly what I wanted.